Two farms side by
One
side.
side, two farms side by side, with the common fence, which of course we didn't keep it back. And they had some friends over there. And the two families were the Martineau and the Clark. And the oldest Martineau boy was Howard Nephi Martineau. He had 14, there were 14 children. He was the oldest. Yeah.
That surprised you.
And then there was a very pretty girl whose best friend was Susie Martineau, and her name was Mary Clark. And so they hung out together a great deal. And when Howard Nephi Martineau was 14 years old, his father was called to go on a mission to the Southern States, which meant that Mama and a 14-year-old boy were going to be running the farm. And in those days, everything was done by muscle. There was no machinery. Machinery wasn't so good. And so it was kind of heavy work. And he did the job. And he did it very well. And so that was basically there. And then this very pretty girl who was very shy. He was interested in her, but she was so shy that she saw him coming down the street, she would cross the street. So she didn't have to see him. So he took to hiding in doorways. And she'd walk by and he'd just suddenly appear. Just chat. I mean, it wasn't like they weren't next door neighbors all of her life. And he'd only known her for 19 years. Because she was 19 years old when they got married. I mean, they understood each other, right? But that's what they were. And they started off life in Knightsville. And he was a minor now. To understand Howard Nephi Martineau, take a good look at Jesse. Just kind of look at Jesse. And Jesse comes off two strings. One is Howard Nephi Martineau, and the other is a guy named Jesse Rasmussen. Both look a lot, the upper torso, like Jesse. And every day, just the shoulders up. Just the shoulders up. And every day, Howard Nephi Martineau would pick up a 400-pound machine, put on his shoulder, walk into the mine. He drilled the holes for the dynamite. And so that's what he did. And grandmother was grandmother. And they got, because just the nature of economics, all the miners sooner or later were hocked up to their ears to the company store. And one day, Howard Nephi Martineau said, well, Mary, we're going to be here the rest of our lives because everybody is. You get in debt to the company store and you're there. And she said, no, we won't. I'll take care of the money. And she did. And they no longer stayed there. Lots of stories, not going to go through any of those now. And then they decided, Mary thought they had to go do some farming. He wasn't a farmer. He didn't like farming really badly. And so he got a job on the railroad, Union Pacific Railroad, and that's where he spent the rest of his life, which is a big part of everything going on here. And long story short, they arrived in Boise. And in the church, the Relief Society Press is very, very important. Stake Relief Society president. She was the Stake Relief Society president, and her stake went from Twin Falls, Idaho to Huntington, Oregon. That was the stake. And every single apostle of the Lord Jesus Christ ate at their table several times because the church was small, and that's how the general authorities came. They came, they stayed with the saints, and so that's just what happened. And it's kind of interesting. I remember she's telling me about Joseph Fielding Smith coming once, lying flat down on his face in the couch and said, my bum is so tired, there's no way I could sit on it, because it was a long way from Salt Lake to Boise, a Model T car. And the roads were not paved. They didn't, I remember when they started putting in macadamized roads. The old roads, the really great ones, were concrete, and they went bump, 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 bump as you went down the road. That's just how they did. But most of the roads were gravel. And that was what it was. And so they grew up with the church here close. They did have lots of experiences. And my mother graduated from Boise High School at 16. They double promoted her once because she was too bored. And so at 16 she graduated, and she was bright. We used to have a lot of fun because she could read, and she'd read us stories, but she'd be 3 pages ahead. And she'd be reading, laughing sometimes, because she would read 3 pages ahead. She had a photographic memory, which was handy, and she never forgot anything, which was kind of cool.
She taught me.
And yeah, that, you understand. There's a whole, yeah, she taught
She's
Anne.
my teacher.
Yeah, she taught Anne in her school. Anyway, going back.
I cut you off.
Okay, I'm out. Thank you.
Not in trouble, not in trouble. It's just noonish, and I want to show the slideshow before we go.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, Granddad!